Boom. Look what we got here. Look what we got here. And do I have sound?
Got here. Look what we got here.
Yes, I got sound. Awesome.
And do I have sound? Got here. Look what we got here.
Yes, I got sound. Awesome. Oh man, it's interesting seeing the delay between the phone and the computer. Very interesting, guys. Today, we are going to discuss MMA. I have a treat for you. Today, I was looking for a particular Rocky Patel cigar and then ended up getting this vintage San Andreas cigar. It's an 11-year-old Mexican wrapper cigar that has a Connecticut shade or Connecticut broadleaf binder, which I believe is from Nicaragua. I'm not certain of that. And has Nicaraguan fillers. So this is an aged cigar, already has 11 years. That's why it's on a vintage 2008. I was looking for another particular Rocky Patel cigar, and I didn't find it, but I did find this one. This one's in the $13 range. So it's a very premium cigar. It's on the higher price point, at least that I like to go, or at least a standard where I would probably be at for a good cigar. But this, for the price, I think it's going to be a very powerful, a very rich and bold smoke because of the Mexican wrapper that is aged, which is going to, the Mexican wrappers tend to have, and binders tend to have a lot of spice or pepperiness to them. We'll see if this has that. The 11 years of aging will certainly, and you look at that, look at the wrapper. We'll certainly, let's take it out of the cello. We'll certainly mellow it out a bit. And then I'm pairing it with this Great Lakes Chillwave Imperial IPA. And I always told you guys I'm a sucker for all the wave stuff. Anything with the wave or that is surf is going to get me. And this is actually how we do look. Although it's the wave like this was at Lake Superior was barreling this winter. I didn't get a chance to get on it. I haven't made in Lake Superior. I haven't had the opportunity to get over there. But this is how we sort of surf. We got big wide boards and wetsuits. So we really do look like that. And then there are also big chunks of ice in the water as you're surfing. There is snow. There's ice that floats around. So you end up getting an icicle beard, all that stuff. I've gotten icicle beard before, at least icicle head. Still lots of fun. If you're catching waves, you're having a lot of fun. So I was a sucker, and I'm going to pair it with this Imperial Stout because I didn't want to go for fruitiness. I think with this broadleaf, let's take a look at it. Rocky Patel Vintage San Andreas. Yeah, look at that. Very elegant looking. I thought, in terms of beer, I think this cigar might be better with a spirit. I was looking for a beer that might have had a whiskey cask or some other flavor. I would have liked to have had it like with this cider. That's how I brought the cider out. This cider fucked me up. The Iris cider here. This is actually casked with Malort barrels. This thing was gnarly. And I kept the bottle. And why I kept the bottle is I'm going to do what I did here. What I did in this can is, or in here, this is a jar that I just kept. I should have had a better jar. I don't know why I picked this jar. But inside of here are mint leaves with the grain alcohol, right? So I aged it. This thing's been around for like a year now. This thing's going to fuck me up. If I take a shot of this, when I strain this thing, it won't have a lot of alcohol because there's a lot of mint in there. Maybe I'll purify it. Who knows? Maybe I'll puree it and add more alcohol to it. I don't know, but this is just something that I do. I'll probably do the same with this bottle. That's why I kept this bottle. It has a little top on it. I'll probably make some Puerto Rican Pitoro, my own sort of like homemade moonshine or whiskey. What's up, Brian? Or I'll maybe make some roncamo or a Christmas drink with it. So that's why I went with with this Chillwave, because this cigar here, with that Mexican binder, the pepperiness, the broadleaf Connecticut, it's going to be a full. Oh, it smells so good, really good. Strong earth tones. A little of that. Oh man, farm smell, that barn smell, really good. I love that. And that's probably where this thing was sitting. San Andreas is near Veracruz, Mexico. It's near the Gulf side. It's on the Gulf side of Mexico, and Veracruz is the largest city close to it. We're talking an area of lots of jungle. So this is some jungle tobacco here. I honestly can't say I've been to Veracruz before. I can't honestly say that I've been to San Andreas, but after looking at this cigar, and we're going to try smoking it, see how it smokes. Maybe I should do a little cigar trip, or even a tequila trip to Mexico again. I've done the tequila trip before, but never the cigar trip. So, maybe to this San Andreas Valley that looks really interesting, very jungly. I looked at it on Google Maps, and it looks like a very rich, beautiful, agriculturally robust area. So I'm expecting this thing to smoke pretty good. On the wrist again, we still have the Timex guys. I don't have it yet. The Timex there, the Timex date. Marlin matches the shirt. Got it to also match the shoes. There's a Modelo there. Boom. Got to match the socks and the shoes and the shirt. All got to match up. Yeah, pregame with the Modelo. And the Modelo is going to be very, very mellow compared to the fullness and craziness of the Chillwave Imperial Stout. Welcome, bow betters. Let's see here. Am I? Did I mess that up? Am I more in frame now or worse? I guess I could do this. Oh, wrong thing there. All right. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's see if that helps. My head isn't chopped off. Yeah, my head isn't chopped off. That's a little better. That's a little better in frame there. Not fantastic, but a little better. Yeah, so the watch band, the shoes, and the shirt flow. You know what I mean? That's my fit, as the kids say. Match the watch band to the socks, socks to the blue in the shirt, the shoes to the brown in the shirt as well. And then I got some, I don't know, like a gray color. I got these Under Armour golf pants. I love these things. They're like really nice material, right? Nice material on the golf pant. Fix that. They're just soft, easy to wear, comfortable, could wear it all day. And some cheap ass fucking, this belt was like $14. It's one of those like military release belts. I wear these. I got to get a nicer belt, but the belt I want, the actual Ferragamo belt I want is like $1,000. I don't know if I could spend $1,000 on a belt. Yeah, that's just that's a little much. I mean, I get so many pairs of shoes. I get most of the clothes that I wear a whole year for $1,000, but it's one of those things that you buy once and then you just keep it for your lifetime, and you never try to destroy, and you have it there and you wear it on special occasions or whatever you need to. But yeah, I was like, wow, Ferragamo, it came up that much. I just can't bring myself to do it. So this San Andreas, I don't know, should I let me pour out the beer, grab a sip of the beer first, and I'm going to chase it with this Modelo to clean my palate, because this thing's going to fuck me up. This Imperial Stout is, I believe it's 9.5% ABV, 9% alcohol. And there it is. And it says that it's inspired by North Coast dedicated and sometimes chilly surf community. Our fully stoked double IPA will melt the ice in your beard and never lose its balance. So yeah, these guys know what we do out here, and it's sort of a tribute to us. And you can see it on the can. It looks sick, dude. That's awesome. Because it is, you don't really surf breaking the ice like that, but that is a really beautiful rendition. And the guys on the North Coast up there, Lake Superior, really do get a lot better waves than we get here in Indiana or Michigan City, where I surf, primarily in Indiana. When I'm here in Chicago, that's what I hit up. But we do have waves here. Oh yeah, see, I knew it was going to be really dark. It has that dark, there's a little golden amberness to it, very amber beer, very nice golden amberish look. And look at that. Yeah, that's an Imperial IPA. Tons of, let's see if I get that amber in there. Yeah, look at that amber. Hopefully it's a little, yeah, it has like a little caramelish cream head to it. Nice. Yeah, very, very caramely. Has that, I like that it has, that still has the hops in there. It has that hop finish there. It's not overwhelmingly, it has some punch. You can feel that punch, but it really has a beautiful color to it. This is not a, like I said, I was possibly going to get a bourbon cask beer. I'll probably only drink like 2 of these at 9%. Actually I could drink more of them, but this one, it feels a little heavier than, like the Maximus that Lagunitas puts out. Yeah, it has a very strong finish, but the start is very nice. It's actually, has a little caramelization, a real like soft caramel taste, right? It's not really a burnt taste. I like that. I like that. I almost like these Imperial IPAs over Imperial Stouts. Although an Imperial Stout would have worked. I think this is going to be a good pairing. I think this is going to work out, guys. Keep on sniffling and sniffling. It's a little light on the cup here. There you go. What's up, Real News? I got an expensive cigar today, though. $13 for this cigar. I'm just curious about the area in Mexico, and I didn't make a non-surf trip to some part of Mexico at some point. Try a cigar sort of tour trip just to go visit a farm, just to go check it out. I've been meaning to do that to Puerto Rico, to go to like a coffee farm there. Check out how this coffee making process. They basically get free labor from you. You go there, you stay on their farm in these little huts and stuff, and you basically work to learn about coffee. And I'd like to do that. Actually, go to Mexico and go to a tobacco farm, especially in this area here. This area here, San Andreas, which is in Toluca, closest to Veracruz, which is beautiful. Veracruz is, telling you, man, jungle, hot as hell, hot and humid. That area, hot as hell, man, but beautiful. Great food, great seafood, great music. A lot of good music in Veracruz. Great entertainment, beautiful hotels. I'd go to Veracruz over like places like Cozumel or Cancun any day. Veracruz, Mérida. Mm. Mm. Wow. Guys, this is really cool. It still has that pepperiness to it, So this isn't like a beginner cigar because this is the kind of cigar sometimes that pepperiness or that spice can overwhelm people, and that's what they interpret as a strong cigar. They'll have that taste and say, oh, it's too strong for me because it's peppery, but it has this underlying little soft sweetness. I don't know if that's from the beer that's still on my tongue, but if that works out, and that's why I think this would have went better with a spirit, such as a whiskey or a bourbon or even a really aged good rum. I love rum myself. Oh yeah, on the smoke has a subtle on the palate, right, or on the lips and the tongue. There's a remnant of pepper that's going to be there, that little bit of spice. But as you're exhaling on the smoke, there's a little nice sweetness to it, and that's from that aging. The broadleaf, probably from the broadleaf and that Nicaraguan filler. I hope they put some premium filler in this thing, but it really gives it excellent balance. Like the beer we had last week, Shaolin Finger Jab, this is a cigar that, I'm going to have to give it a really high rating because it has all three elements that we want in a cigar in a very defined way. It has that beginning spice, that beautiful soft sweetness in the middle, and then a beautiful, 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 just earthy, smoky finish. It has a little pepper with it too as well, but it's all combined with the sweetness there and with that broadleaf in a full body that like really, this just from the start, I'm considering this like a fantastic cigar, and it should be for about $13. It's got a 11-year-old Mexican wrapper on it. It's premium. It should be what it is. It should be a very good tasting smoke. Yeah, I'm liking it a lot. Real News is probably going to soon jump on me on all the potential picks for this week. I went real light last week, so I didn't assume any damage, nor did I have any significant winnings. So, I did something that I told you guys not to do, and I did a couple of those stupid micro bet parlays that some of my coworkers do and people I know do that I used to do, just because I didn't want to bet large on that last card. I made some bad plays, but also some was saved because of Ariana Lipsky. That was a good play. I should have went larger on her. I didn't, back Volkov, but I made some other small plays and parlays where I had like Peter Yan in there, small parlay. Didn't benefit from those. So what I was able to win out of Lipsky was, like $40. It was small after all the smaller losses that I took. I put up like $100 and I won $40. Like in total, it's a win, but really, when you make $40 on $100, that's why sometimes it would have been better to put the full $100 on Lipsky. When you're doing those small little bets instead of like $50 or $60 on it, do the full 100, do it all on her, then the other $40. Forget about those small little $5, $10 micro bets and little parlays or these long shot props, and just go for the $100 on somebody that was paying you 3-1 anyways. Yeah, I'm not. You know what I did this week. I'll let you guys. Duncan isn't so bad. I mean, Dusko Todorovic is so. Here, me. Yeah, that actually works out better, huh? Yeah, Dusko Todorovic is just so inconsistent, so bad. You know, he was promising when he first came on board. I mean, the guy used to have a little bit of grappling. He has no chin, horrible fight IQ, is skilled, he's just not quite UFC caliber, and the UFC keeps on throwing him out there. So I think they're just feeding him again. I don't know, real news. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Christian Duncan was he a short term replacement for Dusko Todorovic? If he is, like if he's coming in on short notice, I'd stay away from that Christian Duncan. Although Dusko doesn't seem like he could beat anyone, and he's going to be fodder as a setup person for most of these people, like Malcolm Gordon, same thing. Not really UFC caliber. Jake Hadley is gonna, don't like the attitude, but the guy's is tenacious. He's aggressive. I don't know if he'll finish Malcolm Gordon. I think he probably will. In all likelihood, he will. They haven't put the props up for that yet. So initially, real news, I'm liking the start of your little parlay there of Duncan. There's another Duncan on this card. Let's see. Oh yeah, Chris Duncan versus Omar Morales. Ooh man, I don't know about that, brother. Omar Morales, he's if he doesn't gas, he's real savvy, right? Which Omar Morales is this? Let me make sure I've got the right Omar Morales. Because are there two Omar Morales in the UFC? Yeah. This is not the. This is the. I was thinking of another Morales, the guy from Valenzuela, who's a teammate of Martinez that won last week. The guy who knocks people out, kicks people out, just destroy their legs. He's got a TKO just via kicks. So I was thinking of him, him being in this. But no, this is the other. No, this is the. Is this that Valenzuela? Let me look on ESPN. No, it can't be because it doesn't have that TKO. No, it could also be from Valenzuela. No, this isn't the fighter I was thinking of. But this Omar Morales is a gamer too. Not as good as the other Morales I was thinking of. But I may, that helped your line, probably throwing that Duncan in there against him, because Chris Duncan, where are we at here? Is a minus 107, so he's an underdog. Might be a good dog play, so I sort of like that, real news. I like the way you're thinking here. And you threw Hadley, we mentioned Hadley, Miller, and Murphy. Oh, okay, no. You had a 3 parlay of Duncan, and Hadley, and then another parlay of Murphy and Santos to win. Oh, a minus and under 2.5 from Murphy and Santos. So not to go the distance in Murphy and Santos. That's that's not bad. Yeah, there's 3 replacements. Yeah. So okay. So yeah, that's why you're fading Omar Morales. I think that's a good idea, especially coming from South America, going all the way to Europe, right? Bam Bam's for Danny Rodriguez. Jeez. Yeah, it was supposed to be Danny Rodriguez versus Gunnar Nelson. that would have been a good fight for Rodriguez. Although Gunnar probably could get him down just as, you know, this is going to be a favorable. I think it's going to be a different matchup for Gunnar Nelson. And I'll let you guys know right out the gate that I did not, you know, it sucks that Brian Barberena is a late comer, but I'm not too impressed with Gunnar Nelson. I mean, he seems to be like one of those you know, if he doesn't get you down, he's got decent striking. He's got, you know, more of a karate style. Not the best boxing, not the best striking defense, not the best movement. Although the guy is athletic, funny, intelligent. You know, I think Brian Barberena could be, you know, let's see. I've been wrong about these, and I've been wrong about all my, not all my underdog plays, but lately been doing really, really well. In Santos for with Wood is Carolina Santos against yeah, I think Joanne Wood, they're throwing her a bone. I think she might be the lock of the night. I'm not too impressed with Luana Carolina at all. At all. She got pieced up by, you know, Meathead Molly. I like that the line slightened a little bit. Joanne Wood was the stronger favorite. Maybe that's because she always seems like she's got one foot out the door. But I got to favor, you know, Joanne Wood here being back in Europe. Although I think she trains here in the United States with a favorable fan. I don't know why Carolina went back to, after the experience she had in London last time, or in England, I mean, not a very wise decision to go back to that well. I don't think she finds redemption. I think that she gets starched here, and there's a possible finish for Joanne Wood, even though finishes are uncommon. You know, or actually, they've been more common in women's MMA. Because Carolina Luna, even though she's long and lanky, has no striking defense, you know, not really super quick, where Joanne Wood should have a significant grappling and boxing advantage over her. This should be her all day. She needs this because she's gone. If Carolina Luna, she can't beat Carolina Luna. This will be her, even though how nice she is, she's a fan favorite, great in front of the camera, she will be gone. She'll go to Bellator, or she'll go to some of these other promotions because it's a setup. I'll have to look at this. Guys, one thing that I think I've been suffering from in terms of my losses is because I'm not doing the pieces the way I used to do. I'm not doing as much fight research. I'm not watching as much tape as I once did. I'm not doing the statistical analysis that I used to do as much. I'm going by history of seeing the fighters and knowing what their win conditions are and what their tendencies are, and betting purely on that kind of speculation, which isn't always good. I think that doing the intense research, looking at the other tendencies, trying to find the other X factors on certain fighters, you know, like this bout between Ludovic Klein and Jai Herbert is just going to be a barn burner. That's going to be an awesome stand-up affair. Although Klein Ludovic could surprise you, I don't think Jai Herbert is. Jai Herbert's going to be a true stand-up kickboxer, and him training with Leon Edwards, which he has for a long time. This is his opportunity too, because this is his last opportunity, I think, for Jai Herbert. It's in England. If he loses against Ludovic Klein, where he is the underdog, Herbert should have a huge reach and height advantage. So Ludovic Klein's going to be having a difficult time doing. What's up, baby? Gonna fuck somebody's house up, burn it down, smoking cigars. I think this is a favorable matchup for Jai Herbert as well. Ludovic Klein is good, has good striking defense, but can be hit. And Jai Herbert can punch. He does have that one-punch power. I mean, he hurt the Georgian Spaniard dude. He's hurt a lot of people. He almost won that fight. Let's see, what was that fight with who's now going to get a championship here? Look what you do to me, real news. I jump all over the place when I'm interacting with the chat, which is okay. It's all right, guys. Yeah, Tapuria. When he had Tapuria on the ropes before he got knocked out. He was tagging Tapuria, and if he could do that to Tapuria, and he does that the Duvik Klein, he might be able to actually get him out of here. Guys that put pressure on Ludovic Klein tend to do well, but if they stand on the outside, which isn't Jai Herbert. Jai Herbert actually he's good everywhere. I mean, he's good at distance. He's good in close quarters combat. Just that if you touch him on the chin or if you take him down, you can finish him. And I don't think Ludovic Klein's going to take him down. I think they're going to stay standing. And this might be an instance where, training with Leon Edwards, getting that championship, that patina, the rub off on you, being around that champion, maybe that sparks something in Jai Herbert, also in the preparation for this bout, where maybe possibly they were Edwards. I didn't see their grappling workouts, and you guys could tell me on Instagram if Leon Edwards was doing a lot of grapple. I love the subtle sweetness that's there in the cigar. Real nice amber, little hint of caramel, that sweetness that cleans the palate right there. The pepperiness isn't as strong, but the beer, this Imperial IPA, really cleans the palate well, brings out a lot more of that sweetness, and that's what I wanted. I think that's what's doing it with both. They're combining really well. They're marrying on the palate very well. It's excellent pairing here. I can't rate the Imperial Stout because I bought it for a function, right? It was to try to enhance the cigar, to get that taste that is successful. That's coming through the little bit more of a rum, even though it's an Imperial Stout, to get that little more of a sweetness that's in a rum, to try to bring that out, or even the sweetness that you could find in some bourbons, to try to bring that out in the cigar is what my goal was, and I succeeded in it. So that's what is considered a successful pairing. If you're out there, I bought the cigar first, and then I went and sought something that I thought was going to go. I didn't go for like the fruity beer. I didn't go for a certain flavored beer. I wanted something that I thought would bring out more flavors in the cigars. And this Imperial IPA with this aged Mexican and the Connecticut broadleaf and Nicaraguan filler is really working. It's very nice, very elegant. Very again, it has that beginning, middle, end. It has a story to it. It has three flavor palettes, three flavor sets or elements of it in the palate, and then it combines with the beer really nicely. I'm really liking the cigar, but it's a $13 cigar. But hey, you get what you pay for. Which Duncan is it? Chris Duncan. Yeah, he's a small underdog, and I think that's not a bad call. I'm taking some other underdogs. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to Cabo. I already spent some money on cigars and bought food for the week. We'll see. And I took the listing off for Monday, so we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. The rooms were a little expensive from what I've saw. The places that I stayed at before, both of them were booked, and the prices seemed a little high in Cabo for the week because of the spring break. So Do, 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 do. Yeah, John, my picks last week were definitely not fantastic at all. That's why I didn't like. I went small on everything, and I was going to get back to people, and unfortunately wasn't able to get back to people. That's like, okay, here, this is what I was doing. But yeah, I definitely haven't been doing fantastic at all. I didn't go back and review which plays, or at least which picks I did on the live. But yeah, they definitely, John, they weren't. I admit they weren't very good. I did not do very well last week, and I haven't done very well almost this year. I mean, I haven't done fantastic. It's been a not even feast or famine. It's like it's just get by or lose. It's been that kind of a year. So in its entirety, I apologize, John. I know completely that things haven't been, and I'm going for some dogs again this week. You know what I mean? If you went with Volkov last week, I put a small thing on Volkov, nothing major. I thought he could possibly get it done, have some takedown defense. It didn't work out. I didn't bet anything. I thought that Peter Yan would actually win that bout. Krylov, I thought Krylov would win. I was on Saeed Nurmagomedov, but I should have bailed out. And Jonathan Martinez did what I thought with people. He was going to be tough. So that was horrible. And then I threw the flyer on, on whatchamacallit. I should have went back my guy Victor Henry. That should have been the bet. I went with Ariana Lipsky. I didn't trust Tyson Nam. I said definitely not Tyson Nam, and I threw the some money actually on Carlston Harris to win by finish, and that didn't happen. So that if you went with that was a bad bet, right? It didn't do fantastic, and then I threw the flyer on Guido Canetti, and that was wrong. I should have went with Bautista by finish round one. So, it was like, that's why I ended up winning like $40. It wasn't like fantastic. So, John, the play this weekend, and you're not going to like it. I'm on all dogs. I already, my main dog this weekend, and most people are not siding with me, and so be it. I'm on Roman Dolidze. I think that Dolidze, that Vettori doesn't have a submission-heavy grappling game, and him trying to grapple with Roman Dolidze could actually get him submitted. Roman has better, actual slicker jiu-jitsu, actual real, just like this Krylov last week is just better on the ground, right? I think that Marvin Vettori, yes, he's a better wrestler. Yes, he's going to be able to grapple, but Roman is not going to be, can actually get a good reversal or submission himself. And then if this on the feet, Vettori's got great boxing, and he's super tough, super hard guy to put out and to beat out on points. But Roman Dolidze, I think, has a little bit of power. He's fighting at his natural weight. What's the age? I think they're the same age. I'm on Roman Dolidze as my main play this week. With I was looking for a parlay piece, and I think I might have found it. Oh yeah, the other my other play here on a dog is Jennifer Maia. She has, yes, Casey O'Neill has fought like somewhat better competition, not necessarily. I mean, Jennifer Maia lost to Fior, and I think that was by decision, right? Lost to Chikagian, which isn't so good, but lost to Shevchenko and a win to Jessica Ai. So I think she's fought some better competition, but Casey O'Neill, will have a grappling advantage, and Jennifer Maia isn't like super good from bottom, but she's savvy. She's grappling savvy. So I went on 3 dogs. I went on Dolidze, Jennifer Maia, and even though he's on short notice, I threw a flyer on Brian Barberena, nothing large, and then I put those three fighters in a Trixie. in a three underdogs and a Trixie. So that ends up being here. Let's break that down here for you. And it's nothing great. Like my Trixie is $60. I did a $60 Trixie, so I should have put wood in there. So I got let's break that down here. $60. And there's some other fights that we could talk about here. Jennifer Maya, she's at plus 140. When I got her, she was at plus 160. Brian Barberena, actually, I got him. He was at plus 300, so he's becoming a bigger dog. And Roman Delice is actually closed a little bit. He's plus 210. I got him at plus 230, right? When he was in all three of them in a parlay is at plus 295, right? You put them in a round robin, so into a $60 Trixie, right? It pays out $847. And that's what I did. I took them all on the money line, right? I did, so I did the patent, right? I took them all on the money line at different increments, right? I took Brian Barberena at like $20. I actually put them all at like $20, and except for Roman Delice, where I have him at $50 in a single pick. So if you do the patent, if you do like $100 patent, let's just say $100 patent, right? That means you're playing seven. You're making 7 plays, and you're doing, that's 3 on the money line and then 4 in the parlays. So you're doing, or $105 patent pays $1,046. $1,046 for a $105 bet is sort of where I'm at, right? With those 3 underdogs, with the bet, the amount of money that I've spent where I'm close to that, I stand to win if I'm correct. This is one of those cards I'm trying to, I'm hunting here. I'm hunting, taking a risk, taking a gamble on these 3 dogs, and putting them in a $60 Trixie is risky, since they're all big underdogs. But if 2 of them hit, if 2 of them connect, it'll pay. Even my parlay, just putting so essentially the $60 Trixie is $15 parlays, right? So you have a $15 parlay with Maia and Brian Barberena. You put $15 for that, and you win $135, right? So if that just hits, I'm in the profit range, beyond the profit range with the Trixie. It pays for the Trixie and more if that just hits. If Maia and Dolice hit, that's going to pay even. Well, no, it doesn't pay better, but if Maia and Dolice hits, that's at plus 664, and that will net me $95, right? Which still is a profit. So 2 of them just have to win to get my money back and actually make a little money. Any of the two hit, like Dolice and let's say, where is he at again? Where is that? Boom. Brian Barberena, that's at plus 1171, $15 there. That's $175 profit, right? Any 2 of those hit, and I made a good bet, right? They're 3 dogs. I parlayed the 3 dogs, and I took them on the money line. And that's the majority of my plays. I like this Joanne Wood. I don't think she's going to fail me. I'm thinking of Jai Herbert. I think Jake Hadley has that down. And now that Real News has told me that Omar Morales is coming in on short notice, I'm liking that. Chris Duncan and those 3 fighters to get me at plus 276. Oh yeah, Vittoria's younger. Real News. Thanks for that information, man. Yeah, this is Dole's time, man. He's got to do this. If he doesn't win this fight, he's never going to sniff getting near a championship. But he's surging. But Vittori's fought who's who in the division, only champions. Right? Vittori's cleaned out the division. Like, there is nobody other than a champ that he could fight. That's why he had to take this fight. You know, it's his sort of fight to win. I mean, he's only lost to the best. I mean, he's only lost to Adesanya. Come on. He lost to Robert Whittaker by decision. He beat Paulo Costa. He lost to Israel Adesanya. He beat Kevin Holland. He beat Jack Hermanson, Carl Robertson, beat Andrew Sanchez. He lost to Adesanya. You know, he wins to Miranda. Antonio, he lost to Shoeface. You know, that's where, you know, and Shoeface had 4 takedowns in that fight. Right, and that was a decision loss. You know, I just feel that Dolitze is a live dog. I've been making money with Dolitze a while. You know, this might be my shot with Dolitze, and I'm taking it. Yeah, Klein Ladovic, going back to him, you know, he's just got that reach advantage. How is he going? You know, his best thing are his kicks, in my opinion. He's got really good kicks and quick kicks. He's able to bring his kicks back really easily. And he might have a hard time doing that with Jai Herbert. And Jai Herbert, if he fights long and stays on the outside and stays away from those kicks, I think he could piece up Ladovic Klein. I think he could really just outbox him and bring this to a decision where he outpoints him. Problem is, you know, like if he gets too close, Ladovic Klein's not really a grappler, but can grapple, right? He will, you know, be an opportunistic grappler. He might, you know, start to wrestle. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to stay on the feet. And based on the 2 elements of Herbert just being, having good pop in his punches. Klein Ladovic is more of a volume guy and a volume kicker. He needs that volume to really get you out of there. Where Jai Herbert has more of that finishing power. I think Jai Herbert might be another, you know, I might have to tail Real News, and I think he might be another live dog here in this instance. Are there any other live dogs here? Does anybody think that Jafel Filo is a live dog? Another live dog, I think it could be Amir Americani against Jack Shore. A lot of people probably doubt that, but Amir Americani is on, I believe, a 2-fight winning streak. He's always dangerous on the ground. And his jiu-jitsu is really good, but he's like sort of almost a sub or bust guy. You know, Leon Edwards. How about Leon Edwards? Leon Edwards is definitely a live dog. He was dominated, you know, for almost 5 rounds. I think he could have lost all 5. I think he may have won maybe round 2. Remember when he actually got Usman, and he actually took Usman down and might have sneaked out a round, but I think that the judges had Kamaru Usman winning in all 5 rounds. So yeah, Americana, he gasses hard. That dude, he's also a round 1 or bust kind of fighter for sure. And you might be able to live bet after maybe Armand Mariquani gets a takedown in round 1, sort of sits on it for a bit, but doesn't, you know, if Jack Shore can avoid the submission, doesn't get the submission, Americani's cardio tank, his gas tank is horrible. What about Justin Gaethje against Rafael Fiziev? I mean, Rafael Fiziev's takedown defense is very good, but you know, it looks like Justin Gaethje, even though he's been practicing that wrestling, it looks like he's going back to his roots and wrestling. But chances are he gets in there and he doesn't wrestle. He's not going to wrestle, and you're not going to outpoint Rafael. You're not going to. It's just not going to happen for Justin Gaethje. You know, even with his skills and his kicks, and he hits hard, Fiziev is going to take those, and he's just going to be, you know, the guy's working. You know, he wants a title shot. Man, excellent cigar. John, what do you think of the picks this week? The underdogs. Can you speak to something on the underdogs? You like the underdogs? Don't like them? Think it's stupid? Bad play? What? You talk to me. Tell me something here. Let me go get another beer, guys. Real News says he's going to sit back and relax, enjoy the main and co-main, and you can see them going either way. Yeah, man. I think Dolitze is a live dog, and I think Leon, they're both live dogs in here. You know, I'm hoping for a dog card. Hoping the dogs are barking. Hoping the dogs are howling. Give me that dog money. Let's go. You know, I rarely do the dog Trixie like this. Usually it's like, you know, a couple favorites that I'll put in the Trixie, or 3 favorites that I'll put in the Trixie that are priced really well. I think I could make another Trixie here where that to make that happen, right? I think this is another card where you could build. We'll do that. Let's build a favorite Trixie. I like Joanne Wood to sort of be the anchor of that Trixie. Jake Hadley, I'm at minus 385. He's a little high on the price, but at 385, we're a little bit money wise over that. But those two in themselves get me to even money. And it's hard to find that third one because everything else is just really overpriced. You know, I don't know too much about this Chris Duncan. I know a little bit more about Omar Morales. Coming in on short notice to Europe is not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Short notice anywhere. Dare I put Jai Herbert in that Trixie? Put the one dog? That actually ends up being better. As a parlay, it gets a plus 372. And we do the Trixie at, let's just say, another $60. Yeah, that's not horrible. But that isn't what I was saying. That wasn't a favorite parlay. A favorite Trixie. Got to add a third favorite. Who would that be? Lerone Murphy? Not Mokaev. I think Mokaev is an easy win there. Man, I mean, Gaethje is man. You know, he really could be a spoiler here, but I think Fiziev has been just working so hard. And Gaethje doesn't wrestle at all. But he could start a war. I mean, Gaethje could take it. You know, like when with that in that fight. with Michael Chandler. That was a fight, man. That was a good-ass fight. I think this one can be the same, right? They're not going to wrestle. They're just going to beat the living shit out of each other. Because Gaethje does hit hard. And Fiziev, even though he's really good, he could take it. This is just going to be a war. I mean, Gaethje is a little bit busier. Does have a little better accuracy. But, I just think that overall, Gaethje's wins, that win over Cerrone now and that win over Ferguson don't really last that well. Although, Rafael Fiziev only beat Dos Anjos, which is a solid win. Beating Rafael Dos Anjos usually means a title shot. Usually means that you're ready for the big time. That's why he's got the big time right now. But I don't know if I could put him as that third favorite, especially at that price. It almost would have to be Lerone Murphy. I'd have to do research to see if this guy would be could be a spoiler. And that $60 Trixie would only net me 120. Just $80 profit. So we get to it's that's, I don't know if that the juice is worth the squeeze there, right? Because I could just double down on my previous plays, or just throw that $60 on someone like Jai Herbert, right? Throw the whole 60 on him. He's already a plus 143, and you'll net $80, $85. It's a little better. So that's the decision I have to make. I don't know what I'm going to do there. If I throw more money on another dog and I'm on a 4-dog play as my whole night, that means I'm on the betting lines. I'd be on Barbarena. I'd be on my boy Romando Lidze, and then also with my girl, my lovely Brazilian woman, Jennifer Maia. Yeah, that's if I knew a little bit more about Christian Duncan, see if I have to do some do the research, see if he would finish Dusko as a finishing piece. I don't trust Jake Hadley getting a finish against Malcolm Gordon. Just Jake Hadley should finish him, but just really inconsistent, not the best fight IQ. I think we saw some other elements, if I recall right, in his fights, where he showed some other lacking in fight IQ and just not being able to make certain transitional calls in the fight. I'm liking Jai Herbert now over Klein Nadovic just because of the reach and height and training so hard with Leon Edwards. I was on Leon Edwards the last fight. I ended up like a bandit because it was 3-1. I mean, I got lucky. I was on that dog money. I was chasing that dog money, and ended up being correct because ultimately I agree, a very fortunate KO, but I was betting on that KO in the first place. That's why I bet Leon Edwards. I was like, Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards is fast, can strike, but he just not always finishing. Is not a really prolific finisher, but neither really Kamaru Usman. Only of recent has become that finisher. He wasn't very prolific finisher as well, right? And so I just thought that Usman wasn't going to be able to get him down very much, and was somewhat correct on that. But we look back on their fight. Their first fight was completely different. Like Usman just dominated. He dominated the last fight too, right? He dominated the last fight. Yeah, Usman had, 5 takedowns, right, in that fight. Yeah, he did actually have a lot of control time. A ton of fucking control time. 10 minutes and 36 seconds. Almost over 2 rounds of control time. And if he did that once, he could do it again. Yeah. So that's what we got, John. John left. John, leave the chat, and you can get a response from John. That's all right. There's another card though, guys. I've sort of scaled back. Just got a lot of costs. I'm not like betting, as much as I did before in the past few months. I'm not reaching. I'm not trying to. Maybe these picks are a bit of a reach this week, but I'm on the three dogs. And bucket, I'm on the fourth dog. I'm on Jai Herbert. And I won't make that that parlay. I'll just throw like $40 on Jai Herbert and let it be. And that'll be the bets that I made this weekend. Taking Maia on the money line, all of them on the money line, and then parlaying, as I mentioned, Maia, Barbarena, and Dolitze. And two of those have to just hit for me to make a slight profit. And I'll be happy with the slight profit. But if all three of them hit, we make a big profit. A big profit, right? Because as I mentioned, the three pick play there. It's sort of a setup for Gunnar Nelson. He's in his own backyard, but Brian Barberena fights for your money. Yeah, just the round robins, 3-pick round robins. Yeah, $60 will win me $847. That would be a nice payday. That would be sweet. I'll be happy. happy. That would be a nice one. Will it work out? It's yet to be seen. But again, in order to make a small profit, to win my money back and make a small profit, all I need is for two of them to win. What's the likelihood of that? The implied probability is plus 410. It's not great. It's not great. But all I need is for any of the two parlays to hit. They don't all three have to win. But it'd be nice if they did, right? And then I have money on their money lines. So if it took like the patent, let's just say we did the patent. Let's put it at, let's just $175 to win. If a patent, like $25 on everything. Let's say if it was $25 on everything, even though it's $15 on the other ones. By line, I stand to make over $1,500 on a $175 bet. Right, that's what I have out there, like more like $200. But I'm gonna be put out $200 to potentially win $1,500. That's what I did this week. Risky. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, people? That's what I'm gonna do. I don't see the. Oh yeah, there are some other lines that opened up. Gunnar Nelson by submission, plus 123. They're really thinking that Barbarena taking this on short notice. It's not going to be smart of him going over the pond. And this cigar is really good. I'm smoking it too fast. I got the girlfriend coming over. We're going to go out, I'm going to have some more beers at. We're going to go to Microphone Brewing out in Elk Grove Village here in Chicago. They have a brew arcade where that's like they have video games, pinball machines, and beer, and they have very good beer. We had that beer last week from them. So I'm going to go have some more beer, play some pinball, play some video games, hang out. So we're going to do that. She's coming over here soon. But yeah, that's what everyone's really thinking, or at least Vegas thinks is going to happen. I like the over 1.5 at minus 177. Because Gunner's wrestling isn't great. Barbarena, yeah, Real News should be a good time, man. Anytime you're going to drink beer, chill out. It's a good time. Add some pinball. I love pinball. I could play pinball all fucking night. And I used to. When I was like in college, I would like go to this bar, and it was a pinball bar. Had like 8 pinball machines in there. And people would gamble. We'd be gambling and I gambled. I would be gambling in pinball. I also gambled in pool. I was a pool shark junkie, pool hall junkie. So I'd play gamble in pool as well. We'd gamble in the pinball. Fucking be a couple guys there you wanted to stay away from. I wasn't one of those dudes, but they're like two or three dudes that they could play on that pinball. One ball, they'd be there for an hour, and then you're dead. Like they already have like tens of millions of points. Did everything like that you hope to do once. They did it 10 times. Get the multi-ball like 10 times and make, rack up all these fucking points. And you're just barely at their level, and they would just destroy me. There are levels to this shit, even in the pinball and video games, but even especially in pinball and in pool, there's levels to it. That's why people have to spot you, just like in golf, you get spotted, right? Like, oh, I'll spot you a ball, I'll spot you 2 balls. I was excellent at that because I wasn't like fantastic. I'd be like, oh, well, spot me the 8 ball, or even spot me the 7. And that's when I would like, okay, you spot me the 7, we'll play for $200 a set of 3, right? Or 300, or even 500 a set of 3. Race the 3 for 500. Spot me the 7. And these real good players would do it. And then when it's just like them and me too, when the pressure's on and you're like fucking down 1 game or you lose 1 game and you miss that 7 ball, it's not a great shot, or you do something wrong that 7, it puts pressure on you, and then you miss and I hit the 7 and I win. I don't have to do the 8 and the 9 ball. You spotted me that 7, and I would just clean up on dudes, right? And vice versa. When I knew I would outclass somebody, I would say, okay, I'll spot you that 7. And then I would do something to hide the 7, right? Like play a defensive shot. If I didn't have a really good shot on the 7, I'm like, where could I put this 7 ball that where he's going to have to bank it to win, or it's going to be frozen where he is going to have to kick it or bank it to win, where he doesn't have a shot. I would just like tap it, play defense, put the cue ball right on top of the 7 where he didn't have a winning shot at all. And I would do that shit all the time, man. Because I actually was very good at defensive pool. Like I was very good at hiding the cue ball behind other balls, or putting the cue ball in a spot where somebody had to make a bank shot or a kick shot or very difficult, low probability shot in order to win and get their ball. I would do that all the time. Even if I had a complete open, I'd be like, wait, I hit the 7 ball in easily, but I don't have a good lead for my 8 ball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play defense on this 7 right now, even if it's their winning ball, or even if we're not a winning ball. I'm going to play defense right now to try to get ball in hand my next time, to try to get a better shot, or even like get them fouled out. That was actually something that I was really good at. The players fucking hated the 3 foul rule. I would foul people out losing games all the time. I'm like, oh, okay, let me do this again. I'm just going to put it in another hard location, this cue ball, in a spot where you're not going to get a shot. And I was actually a very good defense and pool player. I was a good shot, as in shot. Like I wasn't very good at my leaves all the time, but I don't know why I could be good at defense and pool, but not good at my leaves. I was good at leaving things defensively, but not offensively. If that makes any sense. Or it does make sense because it just happens that way. But I would seem to do that better than make shots and with leaving a good leave better. So those were days. It's been a while. I have to go back to playing some pool. Very smooth, great richness, that lovely sweet character. The pepperiness is all gone. So now, and the sweetness is even more pronounced. This is a great cigar. This is in the 9 Club, guys. 9 Club cigar for sure. Another 9 Club cigars. I think most of the cigars that I've smoked here have been just fantastic. Almost all of them, but this one is it's up there. This is like a cigar smoker cigar. Another one of those cigars that I could take the wrappers off, present to somebody that smokes cigars, and they're going to be like, hey, is this Cuban? Or man, this, or they would know it. They might know what this is. This is like a great Rocky Patel. I think the cigar is known. The San Andreas vintage. I was looking for another one. I think it was the Conquistador by Rocky Patel. I forget the name of it that I was looking for, and they didn't have it at Benny's, but I was trying to search it down. But this is another buy. This is another really good cigar. Oh my God. So good, guys. Man, like this cigar I take back to me to Mexico. You know, if I go to Mexico, I have to try, you know, this cigar you take to Mexico. It has that jungle, that beautiful, beautiful sweetness to it, a very nice earth tone that's rich and refined. Again, a diverse palate set at the beginning. Even now. All the meat on Dolce is rich. It's meaty. It's you know, him by decision is plus 750, whereas Vittori by decision is minus 121. Right? Because I think that's his likely winning methodology. But again, I'm on Dolce, and I might jump a little bit on Dolce at that plus 750 by decision, or even that submission at plus 800, which is, and Vittori is super hard to submit. Dolce by TKO is plus 575. Vittori by TKO is plus 850, and by submission is plus 650. He has a better likelihood of submission than Dolce. I don't think so, Vegas. At plus 800, Dolce is plus 800 by submission. I think that Dolce has a better submission upside. It's just my opinion. You know, not even the statistics. I mean, what can happen? We haven't seen Dolce a lot. I think he's just got a better ground game. And if this goes to the ground, I think that Dolce can capitalize and actually submit Vittori, or reverse position to actually get a submission. Dolce is a killer. With that experience, that Vittori has is a huge advantage, man. Seeing the best of the best, like, you know, two of the best possibly to do it in that division, Robert Whitaker, as well as, I had real news. I had Dolce finishing Hermanson as well. And a lot of people were saying that Hermanson had the grappling upside, right? Another fight where everyone was saying that Dolce was not as good a grappler. Sorry. Hermanson did have 2 takedowns, but Dolce was able to reverse those positions, get back up, and pound, or even reverse position, ground and pound him. KO'd Phil Hawes, KO'd Dawkins. You know, not the best. You know, not. I mean, most of the people that Dolce has defeated, other than Hermanson, and even Hermanson, they're on their way out. Right? Even Phil Hawes is on his way out. I mean, that's not a good thing. Whereas Marvin Vittori, you know, like I said, man, you know, lost to Robert Whitaker, beat Paulo Costa, lost to Israel Adesanya twice, beat Hermanson, beat Kevin Holland, beat Carl Robertson, beat Andrew Sanchez. I'm not trying to convince anybody to make a play, John or anyone here. This channel isn't like, I don't do that. I'm not trying to tell you, hey, let me try to convince you. And I think that's what I liked a lot better of not talking when I did my other stat analysis, and I would give you the picks. And it was more of not really trying to convince you, but lay out all the information in an analytical way that you can have to make your own quantifiable decision making. And I believe that's always better than me here just giving an opinion. It's different when I did it in the previous format, when I gave you all the other statistical information and gave an opinion based on those statistics, whereas now I just speculate. And so it isn't as effective. And my gambling has suffered from it. When I wasn't going live and doing these, and I do have the time, I just got to get a new computer and sit down and do it. I got the time. I'm just watching other shit. You know, and I should invest more time back into the gambling and into this gambling analysis, and I just haven't been. Man, this cigar has just gotten better and better and better. This is a 9.5, guys, on this cigar. Maybe a 10. Maybe a 10. This is as good as it gets, guys. This cigar is as good as it gets. Just has depth, has range, is smooth, great full body. And I love the range, and especially the pepperiness in the beginning. And now that's completely gone. And as I'm drinking more of the Imperial IPA, it's getting sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. So the oils from the cigar are being lined on my tongue, and then with the stout. Sorry, the Imperial IPA. It washes it down. It even makes the IPA even sweeter and smoother. Fucking awesome compliment here, guys. Like these two beers pair. The cigar and this beer pair so well. It's excellent. It's perfect. It's what I wanted. I picked well. I wish I could pick cigars and beers as good as I do MMA. Sometimes I do. I mean, sometimes I do okay. We'll see. But I know each. But man, this is a very good pairing here. Oh yeah, Real News MMA. Real News MMA says he loves the ability for Vittori to take pressure in shots as well as well-rounded. Good cardio. I think he has two. I think he wins 2 out of 3 being fresher fighter from what I've seen. But Dolitze shocked and pressed him multiple times. Yeah, Dolitze, can gas, but he gassed when he went down in weight class, when he tried to cut. Now he's back at normal. So I don't think the cardio is going to be the same. But man, you're right about Vittori. Like, the dude can take pressure, and he just keeps coming, right? Like, he's tough to finish, tough to put out. And, again, I agree with you 1,000%. His ability to take pressure and shots, and he is well-rounded. That wrestling is very good. But I think Dolitze here, I think he's going to surprise people. And I got him at close to 3-1 money. Had to do it. I could be wrong. Guys, it's gonna be a tough week, but there isn't a huge loss here. We're talking like $200 or a little bit over that in bets, possibly to win $1,500. Right? It's not horrible. Yeah, this might be a good fight, like another fight to live bet on either side, especially if your bookie has the odds incorrect. Like, if you really see Vittori dominating, right, and then you get him at a better price, like it's close, like he's at like even money or just a little over, or maybe even as a dog. And same for Dolitze. This is one of those fights that it's going to be a close decision. Right, you might be able to jump on one of these guys at a certain instance in the bout and grab them at an incredible price. Don't listen to the commentators. Don't listen to those UFC fighters, ex-UFC fighters, on who's winning the bout. This is one of those, it could be messy. This could be a messy fight. And I'm already on Dolitze. Maybe I could buy out at a certain point. I don't think I'm going to. It's just, unless I get a good number on Vittori, in that buyout at some point. tell you, there's a subtle, and I'm going to sound like an idiot for saying it. There's a subtle, I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to fucking be like, this guy's an idiot. It's like a sweet masa, or that tortilla taste, the taste in Mexico. Like when you go, all right, what I'm saying, I'm half Mexican. If you go to Mexico, or even if you're not, go to a tortilla factory. Taste the fresh tortilla. Taste it when it's fresh, hot. When it's just been made, it has that, and the same smell, that masa smell, that cooked masa smell, that smell of Mexico. When I think of Mexico, I think of, that's one of the smells that I think of, right? I think of a lot of other scents, but I love going to get fresh tortillas at the tortilla factory. Going there right there in the center of town, or wherever they make it in what particular town you go to. You don't have to go to the grocery store. You don't go to most people don't get the tortillas at the grocery store. They go to the factory, the little factory or little store where they make the tortillas. It's a tortilla store, right? It's not, it's not a store. It's a tortilla store. And this has, there's a part of it at the finish when it hits my nose where I think of that, that nice, like, and the tortillas are so good, you just roll them up in your finger like you would a cigar, and you just chomp on them. You open up the package, and you don't need any meat. You don't need any, and the sugars at that time taste better. The masa has a little bit of a sweeter characteristic to it. And I hate doing this because I just probably, like, some cigar person out there who watches this is like, this motherfucker, did he just say that the cigar tastes a little like a tortilla? I could see it. It's all right. It's okay. I'm saying yes. It has that element, this smell of Mexico, this characteristic of it, that of sweetness with an earth tone, with that grain almost taste that is really good. This is a fucking great cigar, guys. Yeah, that finish, that slight earth with a little sweetness. Oh, it's so good, man. This is so good. This is what I want in a cigar. And this isn't a Maduro. This is just a natural wrapper. I think I can't believe the Mexican wrapper is just so mild. Well, after 11 years, it should be. Like, initially had that pepperiness, that spicy character to it. But man, it is so rich and sweet and tasty. It could be the beer again, pairing with it. But man, I love this smoke. I really, really enjoy this cigar. I think this has to be one of the best cigars I've reviewed so far. This cigar tastes as good as, like, some of the even more vintage, because it still has retained. Oh, Renu says he searched masa bread and it says sweet bread. I had some sort of sweet bread burger buns last summer, and I'm going to look at them from. Thanks for the reminder. Yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's not super sweet, but it's this light, subtle sweetness with the grains and the earth. It's really good. And now at the end, because of the Imperial beer and the saliva's basted that area, right off the gate, I taste the sweetness. Right off the gate. And I love that too. Right? It changes, the cigar changes as you smoke it. It could get better, it could get worse, but it changes. And this cigar has changed. It's completely different than the beginning. And it's completely different than the middle. The middle was like this jungly earth, like just earthy tone to it. And now a lot more sweet characteristics. A lot of heavy oils are there. And almost that tortilla thing is gone. Now it's turning sweeter. It's just getting, I think it's the beer and my palate with the beer. It's just generating more sugars both in the tobacco. It's working. And a lot of people want a sweet cigar. That's why they go for those flavored cigars, those cherry flavored cigars. There was another one that Alec and Bradley made that I'm not really into, but people that want those like brandy flavored cigars, what they're looking for is the cherries, the sweet characteristic of little fruit into their cigar tobacco. And sometimes just drinking a beer, right? Even a beer like this IPA does that. It makes it happen. There's a chemical reaction here that's happening. On the beer too. The beer now tastes completely different. The caramel taste is so more subtle and more rounded, and the beer tastes smoother now as well. It's not as harsh. It doesn't have that Imperial IPA where like, oh man, this thing's hitting me. The buzz is hitting me. Don't get me wrong, it's hitting me. But now even the beer has changed. It's gotten smoother, sweeter in itself. Like it's not as hoppy because they're working together. And again, it goes back to what a good pairing is. That's why in the titles I put with this cigar with the what the beer is, or the beer with what I'm saying, because they are a pairing. They're supposed to marry each other. They're supposed to coagulate or just marry each other and turn out a different flavor in each. And that's what's happened. And that's when you make a successful pairing. Right? If you drink the same booze with the cigar all the time, it isn't going to work. That's why it's good. That's why I think it's great that I do the different IPAs and different types of beers with different cigars, because we see the diversity and a different mixture. And in Spanish, called a mezcla, a different mix of flavors that is going to produce something different. And that's what this has done. And that's what the cigar is too. Like, this is not a normal, people do not make vintage Mexican cigars. There must be something special about this wrapper at the time that they made it to determine that they wanted to make it a vintage wrapper. There had to be a super, super high quality, because Mexican wrappers are not highly sought after. They were more known for their binders and even remnants for their fillers. But for it to be a Mexican wrapper in a premium cigar by Rocky Patel says something about this location in San Andreas that is special. And I gotta go visit it. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to go visit like a cigar factory in Mexico. But someplace like this. I'm not just going to go to someplace in Cancun or fucking Cozumel, or when you're in, Acapulco or one of those tourist places, although Veracruz is a tourist place. This is a place that I think I'm going to go to. Go visit their factory, go look at their process, smoke their cigars, hang out. And here's another interesting thing. Veracruz and I believe Merida are the home of the type of Mexican music that I love the most, even though I love my ranchero music. I love ranchero music. I can listen to it. I love my Calibre 50, but I love trios. And trios are the group of three, like two types of guitars with a bass guitar, a bassist, that sing in unison and play their guitars in unison. And that's actually my favorite music that comes from Mexico. And it comes from other places too. They play it in other places, but in Mexico, they're really just excellent at it. And it's funny that we mentioned that in a cigar, because the cigar, has that three elements. You always look for those three elements in the cigar, even like a beer. And so we're talking triple threes, threes and threes, or threes and threes. That's not a bad idea for. I think somebody already had the twos and twos. Like if I had a cigar shop, I might call it like triple three. But I think that's also triple threes already. No, that's triple fives. The cigarettes that I used to smoke from South Africa, I believe, or from England. Triple fives. Not bad. The roll is excellent, guys. Very well rolled cigar. I almost just tried to ash it, which you should never do. Let the cigar almost ash itself. But the burn is very nice. Great placation. Great temperatures. It's not super hot at any point. So let the cigar do the work. Very good. Oh, God. I'm going to give the beer a 7.5. I think it's an 8 now. But on its own, it didn't have... it's good as an Imperial IPA, but it just didn't have the... any of the flavors just were not as, like, refined to me. It didn't taste very refined. Now it does. But on its own, it didn't taste very refined. With the cigar, oh, it's changing too. It's changing. Some of the pepperiness is coming a little back. I might be just smoking it a little too much. Let's look at some other props here quickly, folks. Let's look at the props on the Leon Edwards Kamaru Usman. Over 1.5 minus 835. I agree with that 1,000%. Like 1,000%. Over 2.5 minus 435. We're getting sketchy there. They're thinking yes to go the distance, and they are at minus 167. You know, bouts decision only, man. There's where your money's going to be made. Either even on Leon Edwards at plus 250, you just take him on the money line, or Leon Edwards at plus 135. Edwards TKO plus 540. Usman TKO plus 310. They expect him to TKO. Edwards decision plus 460. Usman decision plus 112. They have equal submission lines. Any fighter to win by TKO or KO or disqualification plus 170. And just the alternative winning method, they see this going the distance. One guy winning the decision at minus 167. Nothing I'm wanting to chase there at all. Gaethje and Fiziev over 1.5 minus 182. I like that as well. Although I could see I think Gaethje has a better finishing upside. And let's see what the method lines here. Gaethje by TKO plus 350. They have Fiziev by TKO as being a better, more probable outcome at plus 143. I don't know if I agree with that. Decision lines. Fiziev decision plus 235. Gaethje plus 700. So they see this going the distance is plus 140. They see this not to go the distance at minus 195. They see a finish in this. I'm surprised at that. I'm really surprised. Because if there's a finish, I'd have to side with Gaethje doing the finishing. Right? Gaethje by finish is plus 320. What Fiziev is plus. They see Fiziev doing the finishing at plus 132. I don't know if I could agree with that. I would say the only way you're finishing either of these guys is by submission. Maybe a knockout, but both these guys can take it. Like, both these guys are have great chins, and I'm just not with Vegas here. Maybe that's something I'll have to look at. We'll see if I have some money to gamble when the time comes to, bet against that for it not to go the distance. They're giving me plus money at it. At not to go the distance, I might have to jump on the Fiziev and Gaethje not to go the distance. I lost John. That sucks. He mentioned something and I lost him. That's no bueno. I'm gonna have some more of this Chillwave. I said I was only gonna drink 2 around the 3rd one because the cigar's still going. Wow. This is a good tasting beer now. And yes, I got a massive buzz, guys. What's up, baby? You don't have the Hadley finish line, the Muhammad Mokaya finish line yet. I have Justin Gaethje, went through that. Jennifer Maia. What's her submission line? Plus 1100. And Casey by submission. She's favored at plus 850 by submission. The decision plus 210 for Maia and Casey O'Neill plus 125. If you take Casey O'Neill, I think betting her on the decision is better. And Maia by decision plus 210 isn't worth the chase. I would just grab her on the money line and just leave it at that. Is that the Fijo? Is that Fijo, the guy? Let me see the Fijo. Real news, if you're going to fade Fijo, let's see if it's the Fijo I'm thinking of. No, it's not. No. I mean, maybe he isn't bad, but this is, Mokaev he's in like home territory, right? He's like the Dagestani and Russian guy that trains at, in England, right? He's in his home territory. We haven't seen him outside of Europe yet, I believe. Has he fought outside of Europe? Did Mokaev fight anywhere outside of Europe? He was at Oliver Makachev, Blades Aspinall, and Aspinall Volkov. Yeah, man, no way. I mean, I don't think Fijo. I'm sorry to sniff like that. Mokaev, this is he's the dude's got hands and he's got good jiu-jitsu, and I just wouldn't bet him to finish. I don't trust the guy. Maybe he is overrated. I don't know if it's the time to fade him yet. Wait, Volkov did beat Romanov. Knocked him out. Holy shit. So actually, last week I didn't do that bad in terms of my picks. Oh, it doesn't matter. Oh, I didn't know he had a recent shoulder injury. Yeah, but it depends how, like, what treatments and what they're doing to recover. This is a good card, guys. I'm sorry I can't speak to Juliana Miller and Veronica Hardy. I can't speak to... I've seen Laurent Murphy. I could speak to that. I think Laurent Murphy is going to I don't know Jafel Filo that well. All the other bouts, I haven't analyzed Sam Patterson and Yanal Ashmov, so I can't speak to that at all. I think we got some good bets. I think the lines aren't crazy. I think it's another good betting card. Last week was a good betting card too. I think there were some good bets to be made, and that's why going with the underdog that I did go with paid off okay and saved me from these other bets. And this week we're going to see. We're going to see if my dogs are correct. If my dogs are barking or methodology. Let's look at some methodologies here of just off the cuff. I don't see Leon. I think Leon Edwards. I don't think that Real News saying Santos versus Barbosa is a fun fight for watching. Gabriel Santos. Yeah, I don't do that enough at work. I don't go back enough. I don't know what I get distracted by. It's probably like bullshit on Facebook or fucking YouTube that I'm not like watching enough MMA, or I'm watching, what I'm watching a lot? I'm watching a lot of street beefs. I'm watching a lot of these other fights and shit. Watching grappling matches. A lot of jiu-jitsu stuff I'm watching lately. I can't wait till some of the jiu-jitsu lines we start being able to bet on ADCC and some of these jiu-jitsu tournaments, and we start to see lines on those. I'd be happy with that. I think that's an area that I'll be able to capitalize on and do a little bit better, because I'm starting to gain. I'm watching that more than I am MMA right now. And street beefs. I'm watching a lot of street beefs. Those fights, even seeing these guys beat the shit out of each other for nothing. They're making no money at all. And I'm like, where do these motherfuckers work? Like, do they have jobs? They're able to come in, like, I guess I could come in my job, but I still have to do labor. Right? I don't know what these guys are doing. Street beefs. Yeah, hands up. Yeah, street beefs is man. And you see Mighty Mouse is like making a fortune. He's like affiliating himself with it, which is big for street beefs, right? Which is bad almost for street beefs, because I think a lot of that happens. That's not really like back. I think a lot of it happens on reservations or places like they go out in Arizona or like upper state Washington, maybe that's unincorporated. It's sort of supposed to be off the grid. Like, I think a lot of that is like on, like, that one dude that started it is on an Indian reservation. Oh yeah. Like, there's a time that they're gonna get shut down. It's illegal fighting, except if it's on a Native American reservation. Where I think here, one dude is from Carolina. Like, is he from like Carolina or from or he's in a spot where he's in a rural area where I think it's a Native American reservation where our laws and most American rules and laws don't apply. They have their own regulation. They have their own laws. There are laws within a reservation against illegal fighting and things like that. And they make those. Like, it's supposed to be sanctioned, but whole different authority and administering of that authority in those areas. So, but I just like watching, because most of us people that watch MMA that are not practitioners in MMA, like, those street beef fights are what we would look like if we actually got into the ring. Right? It would just be wild, one-sided, no cardio, fat dudes, old men like myself, like not the most skilled fighters, but maybe have a couple of skills, lots of weaknesses, and that's what I like about it. And I always respect people that want to scrap. People that are willing to scrap for free. Like, they just want it. They want that smoke. You get a street beef, you want some smoke. And you got to respect that for no money. right? And for no money, they want that smoke. I dig that. So I'm infatuated by it because for me, it's novelty, right? It's just good to see. It's good to see not only just from like a proven standpoint, but from just the desire to fight. Those guys want to fight. You know, all the MMA fighters say that. Like, oh, I just want to fight. I'll fight anybody, blah, blah, blah. And then once they get into the money, it becomes a business. It's in the blood money business, right? And it changes. But those kids, those people, those men, women, old people, they're fighting for free. So I watch that more than a lot of MMA. And then again, I watch, Beach, yeah. Dude, I mean, the transvestite guy, is that Beach? No, Beach is different. I forget who the transvestite is. Like, and he beats dudes up. Skinny transvestite, trans person, beats the shit out of motherfuckers about that. And like, they're probably, I'm going to beat this dude who's wearing makeup and is transitioning into a woman, and he comes out there and fucks him up. But there, yeah, fair play. A lot of good fighters there. A lot of people that, like, fucking, they go for it. So we're going to see, guys. I think eventually I'm going to go back and not be live as much. That transition is going to happen again. Although what it is that I like live is I love, like right now I'm not doing any research. I have the time, and I want to smoke a cigar. I want to drink a beer, and I want to talk MMA. And the more people I would have in the chat to talk, I got Real News, which is great. Might have to rename this as in the Real News and Bout Better MMA Sip and Smoke Show, basically, because Real News is the main person or only person that participates in my chat. So I appreciate you, Real News. You help me so much. You keep the dialogue going, the narrative going, which is very helpful, man. Really appreciate that. And again, I think you should do your own show. You've thought about it before. Throw yourself out there, put the phone up, start, make a script, or just do what I'm doing. Whatever, but the thing that I like now is that I work so much that I don't always have a time to. It's nice to drink, nice to have a beer and a cigar, sit down. This is relaxing for me. This is like my peak of the week. Where before, like even doing the content I was doing, it was work, man. Like I used to put hours into making my content, like hours. For nothing, just for fun. And this is a lot easier, right? But it's not as good. I don't think it's as accurate. I don't think it's as informative. I think it's a downside, except for the beer and the cigars. The beer and the cigars are a winner. The beers and the cigars work, man. And now it's become my differentiating factor, which I still enjoy, right? I still enjoy the element that even though you see Top G or these guys smoke cigars, they never tell you what they're smoking. They never tell you what they think of. They never tell you what they're drinking or anything about it. And I give those reviews as well. And that's what I'm cool about. Yeah, don't worry about that, Real News. Put yourself... it's like throwing yourself into a cold ice bath. The first point, and then you just relax, and then you're good. And then you spend your time, you'll calm, and then you'll hop out, whoa, excited again. You could do it. It's a, figure out what format you want to be. You don't have to be in front of the camera. You could be behind the camera. And that's the way I started. I started with just some music and some graphics. Right? I never wanted to be in front of the camera. That wasn't my objective. Do I enjoy being in front of the camera? Not necessarily, but it's a lot easier. Being in front of the camera is a lot easier than making a graphic and statistical intensive slide or movie show or enjoying graphics, because you have to prepare those graphics, and that takes a lot of time. And even as simple as my graphics were, they were intensive because I had a bad computer. And it takes time cutting out all the images, cutting out all the stats, and boom, 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 cutting and pasting here and there. It's mainly cut and paste, right? I'm not saying I'm doing anything fantastic. Although I did have some graphic design, I did some design. And animations. If you look at the slide animation, things come in and out. So it takes time doing all that shit, and then coordinating it with your speech is work. So it was like labor intensive that I wasn't getting paid for, although it was good intellectually. It was very good. Like, this intellectually is light. Like, this is nothing. I'm smoking a cigar. It literally is the Sip and Smoke MMA talk show, right? We're just talking, and we're drinking and smoking a cigar. That's as easy as it gets. Whereas, like, previously, the way I did things, it was labor intensive, technology intensive, and just a lot harder. But pick something out, real news, and just do it, man. I think you're ready for it, man. You do so much research. You're so knowledgeable. You're on top of things. It doesn't matter how much you gamble. If you gamble a lot, if you're correct a lot, throw it out there. And if you have fun at it, like I actually today I was looking forward to doing the show because I was actually looking forward to smoking a good cigar. Like, anytime I could smoke a fucking good cigar, like, I could smoke this by myself, right? But it's nice smoking it with a group of people if you could actually have a discussion with, or if you're just talking to a camera, maybe somebody else sees it. It's cool, right? I wish I was part of a broader smoking show. Sure, absolutely, even a broader MMA show if I had the time, or I do, have been invited, or been out there, been before. If I'm there again, great, But I've accepted it. I've accepted it that in person I'm not as good as on behind the camera. I'm a behind the scenes guy. I'm better at that. But damn, I'm good at choosing my beers. Good at choosing my beer. Good at choosing my cigars. And I'm okay at MMA. Guys, we're not always going to win. Not always going to have these best picks. We're not always going to give you an insight that somebody else doesn't have. And I understand that. And my ratings and my views show that, but that's okay. As always mentioned, I do this for the love. I do it for the fun. And I have the fans I have and the people that actually sit through these. I appreciate you people, and I know that you people are in the industry pretty much. But I think it's fallen off because, again, I'd admit my research has fallen off. My research has fallen off, and I'm going solely on my previous viewing knowledge, which is extensive, and my speculation based off of that past experience and not recent research. And that's why I like Blood Money Bets. I like these other people. I keep mentioning their channels. Last week, I tailed UFC gambling addicts. That's who I tailed. I tailed his ass. And I should have tailed him with Marab. He had Marab, but when he said that he had Lipinski, I was like, I'm on Lipinski, big time. Like, he justified a lot of things, and I do that sometimes. I'll calibrate my inclinations, and if I see somebody that I respect out there in the internet sphere that I respect, and I'm like, oh, that person put in work, and they agree with me, then I'll tail them. I'll say that, or that pushed me off the cliff in order to make that bet. It was the last push I needed to make that go to the gate, go to the internet and make that bet. And maybe hopefully that's what I would prefer to be, even in this live talk. Like, if with my bets, if you feel a certain way about Dolitze, Maia, and maybe I didn't make enough for them, right? Like, maybe like with Jai Herbert, we didn't really go into specifics on why Jai Herbert could defeat Klein Ledovit, other than the reach, other than the striking, other than Usman. Those were my three talking, or training with Leon Edwards. Those are my three talking points, but I didn't go deep on any of those three. And I think before I went deeper, or you could see why I went in a certain way. But John left the chat, regrettably. Guys, don't be afraid. Oh man, this is a good cigar. Of the chat or the comment section. Even leave something negative. It helps. You can say you're full of shit. Who fucking gives a shit? You can, whatever, positive, negative, say what you're doing on a play. I'll comment on it. And maybe in the more participation, that's also the struggle of doing live is when you don't have a lot of participation, it's hard to generate more commentary with the content, because you're not really interacting with anybody. You got to carry the show yourself. And I'm not scripted. I'm just shooting everything off the cuff here, but it makes it more challenging, more difficult. But it's all right. Again, let's see how we do this week. I mentioned my 3 plays, but I think that this could be a dog card. Like fucking parlay busting motherfucking card. Careful with your parlays here. Careful with your favorite parlays. Right? I don't think this is one of those cards where you have all the best, like we had Patty, Aspinall, and Meatball together. Right? It's not that kind of card. Runu is asking, yeah, I think Covington is waiting out. Maybe, Covington went hard. People don't realize that Covington has had a ton of ring time. This layoff may not be bad for him. He could heal up, maybe improve in certain areas of his striking game, right? Maybe help his finishing ability, and maybe even his jiu-jitsu. Covington's one of those fighters that, man, dude, if you just got better at jiu-jitsu, like it's one of, here's the funny thing, the wrestlers that don't excel at jiu-jitsu and the jiu-jitsu guys that don't excel at wrestling, like that's a discussion in itself to be had. Like if they just helped each other, like if Covington went over to Oliveira's camp and fucking, hey, let's grapple and let's train together. Let's get this, like, get my game up. Let me get to a certain point. Like, look at fucking, kind of buzzed. This guy's offer to, to Gan, right? Like, Gan was offered to go to Dagestan. Come to Dagestan, my brother. Learn wrestling. If you want to learn short-term wrestling, go to Dagestan. Go to Henry Cejudo. That's when we knew fucking John Jones was going to get that submission. When he went to Cejudo, he get that wrestling came back. That wrestling came. Look, who does Henry Cejudo train with now? Mighty Mouse, right? They were enemies. They were competitors, and now they're best friends. It isn't just iron that trains irons. It's minds that train minds. They're fighting minds that are getting together and working together and scrapping physically together, pushing each other every day. That's why when Cejudo gets back in there, even though he's a fat little boy, he's going to be ready for Aljo. If your training partner is Mighty Mouse for grappling, you ain't going to get no backpack. You're not going to get a backpack. Henry Cejudo was not going to get backpack like Peter Yan, right? And I think that, that in that fight, the boxing, Henry Cejudo's boxing has gotten a lot better, and Mighty Mouse is going to help him with the mixing it all up. They are pure MMA artists, right? And they have a great combination, Triple C, 3, of mixing MMA, of doing MMA. They're mixing the grappling, the striking, and the wrestling. All three of those elements, and that's what you need, right? And that's what makes a complete MMA fighter. And sometimes that doesn't help you. Like, I think Oliveira is a complete MMA fighter. And we saw recently that Makachev isn't that complete. His striking is not that good. Ash, let it ash. Where's the cigar right now? That moss is there again. That little earth is just there in the middle. With this, and then the sweet finish with earth tone, richness, very full bodied. Guys, this is a 10. This is a 10. This is the 10 club. This joins the 10 club of the cigars right here, this cigar. And I love it when it has that little cone. Usually I like it with a little bit more of a cone, with a little nubby cone like that. That means it was rolled by a master. That means it was a well-rolled cigar. Yeah, Bruno was awesome. Barrio surprised my ass, man. Don't get me started on that. I underestimated him. And against Anders, don't doubt Barrio anymore. Hopefully it's in Canada. I got to go see if Canada will let me back into the country. Because I lived illegally in Canada for like 7 years. So, and when I left Canada, it was a problem. Like they were trying to arrest me for being an illegal alien when I lived in Canada. And they're trying to like saying you can't just leave. You've been here 7 years and you were on a tourist visa. Like I thought it'd be no problem. I cried my way out too. I was like not in the best mental state when I left Canada. But I was, that's why I showed up to my flight like 4 hours early. Because I knew I was going to be grilled by Canadian Customs. I was going to get searched. They put me in the back room. I got interviewed by multiple people, like probably multiple Canadian authorities, not just TSA, right? So, yeah, like the fight Canada deserves. And then this guy who just won as well, with the guy who practices out of Malort, not Malort, Malort? No, not Malort. Who fought against the other Canadian guy and finished him? That's going to be a good fight. Jazuvicius against Maverick. I'm going to take Jazuvicius there, especially in Canada. But when I left Canada, they basically like kicked me out. Like said, okay, you could leave, but don't try coming back, is what the guy said. Literally said that. He didn't say your flight, your tourist restricted, or that I was restricted. He didn't say anything like that. After the interviews, I was in this room for like 2 hours. They kept me in this room at the airport for 2 hours, and I interviewed with like 3 different Canadian authorities. And I'm certain they were all 3 different agencies. Some immigration, drug related, like their FBI and the TSA. Started with TSA, then it went to some immigration person, and then like some big person showed up, was really curious, like, what have you been doing in Canada for the past 7 years? Where did you live? And I told the truth. I didn't lie to any of them at all. I was like, I have a kid in Canada. I was going to get married. And here's my document. And I showed them the documentation. Here's my application for immigration. I was going to be doing it right. I set it all up. I submitted this. We didn't follow through with those certain things, but I was on the path to Canadian citizenship officially. And they were like, not really. They were still like so skeptical of me. Latino man, like not a lot of money, but I had no money and nothing with me leaving. So why would they not let me leave? But they were thinking of keeping me there and arresting me for something like being an illegal alien, or they thought of like, I'm like, what did they benefit of like fucking incarcerating me? Why would I'm leaving, right? But they thought about it. I was on the cusp of not leaving Canada freely, and they were like, okay. And then after 2 hours, they were like, you can leave, you could go, but don't expect that. The guy that said, don't expect to come back anytime soon. So I don't know if they followed through with something and put something. I'm certain when I go back to Canada, I'm going to be pulled to the side. When I go back to Canada, that's what I want. When I go back to Canada, I want to do it like in Ontario, which is close to Detroit, and I want to walk across the border. Where I'm not flying to someplace like Vancouver or flying to Toronto. I'm actually doing it over here in Ontario, close to Detroit, right? Where I could actually I could fly to Detroit, take a bus or whatever to the border to Canada, go to Ontario, and if I get in, go to a hockey event or fly out to another place, go to, end up going to Toronto or to Vancouver or Nova Scotia. Because once I'm in, I know I could travel. Once I'm in, I'm in. But I don't want to fly someplace to know, like a Toronto border, to know that I won't get in. And then I have to go back. And it won't be that expensive, but I need to test it like at the Ontario border if I could actually get into Canada. Because I might not be able to get into Canada. I don't know if I'm permanently restricted, was temporarily restricted. It's been like 10 years. So I'm thinking I should be good. If I were temporarily restricted, I'm good. I've never received anything in mail or anything that says that I'm forbidden to go back to Canada. But the way the guy ended like our interview ended, yeah, maybe there is a place I could call to find out, like with our consulate or the Canadian consulate, or here's what I need to do, Real News, before I go, rather than test the border, is apply for the tourist visa before I get on the plane, so that I have the tourist visa with me when I'm flying. Then I know I'm good. But to fly without that, like normally you would just fill out the tourist visa when you're on the plane, or you reach Canadian customs when you're already in Canada, right? Which wouldn't be that bad because I could just turn around. I fly for free. I could turn around and just fly again, which isn't that bad. What would be bad is if like I get there and they're like, we're charging you for being an illegal immigrant for those 7 years, like 17 years ago or 10 years ago, 10 years ago. But I would do it differently. I need to figure it all out. I've been meaning to go back to Canada. Unfortunately, going to Canada is painful and joyful all at the same time. Right? It's something that is going to challenge me emotionally. Right? And throw everything out. I have a son in Vancouver that I haven't seen in over 10 years. Haven't communicated with his mother for over 10 years. Have no connection to him anymore. And I've not really gotten over it. And being back there, and my first inclination will be going there, which is good and bad. Like going back to Vancouver, Vancouver Island specifically is where he's at now. I'd feel bad, it would be like that. My first inclination will be, if I land in Canada, to go to try to see my son. If I'm in, I'm going to try to see him. And the Canadian government knows that. Her lawyers know that, like, I don't know what she has in place. I think she has like some, what do they call it? Like she has a restriction that I can't go and see him and her. Like she's got that in court in place. And I haven't paid child support in the Canadian system, right? Or in our system. So like there could be it could be murky. It's not going to be clean. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy emotionally nor anything else. And then doing it's going to be hard. Trying to go see my son, if I don't get to see him, how am I going to react? Right? If I'm stopped from seeing him, how am I going to react? If I do see him, that's another a big emotional leap as well, right? Like it's going to be intense going to Canada. It's going to be intense, and I I want to go back. I do want to go back. I've a good some of the best years of my life were spent in Canada. Right? Some of the best years of my life were spent in Canada with my kid and with my friends in Canada. The relationships I made. I went to a UFC event in Canada. Right? That wasn't my first, my second one, but I went to a UFC event in Vancouver. Some of the best skateboard related relationships I've made in Canada. Some of the best adult relationships I've had have been in Canada. Some also with Americans and non-Americans who also were in the same situation as I were. They weren't necessarily there legally in Canada, but the friends that I've made while I was in Canada illegally, I still am friends with now. And they're just some of the best people I've met in my life. Right? So it isn't just, and the Canadians I met there. I mean, see my friend Kyle who lives out by you, Real News. I got to go see that dude again. The dude, like, we used to drink coffee, smoke weed, play songs, make videos, make skateboards, like hang out, go skating. We skated together all the time. Like, just an awesome dude. Like, my life was so, even though it was like, people don't realize this, guys, people, like, they don't understand what friendship is. Like, friendship is more, friendship, especially with foreigners, or not friendship per se, but success in life. Success is making good friends. Success is making an impact. And when you see somebody after 10 years and you guys hug each other or gals and you cry and you're still friends after that amount of time, you haven't seen each other, and that's success in life. That feeling when you guys see each other again, no matter where you're at in life, and you have this emotional high from seeing them again, and that's success. That's what you want that in life. You'd like that to have it in a micro sense, like all the time. That's why I love my job. I love where I work at. Every day the people are happy. They're not unhappy to see you. Right? A lot of people work in that context. I've always left that context. I like my work context now because most people are not necessarily happy to see me, but they're happy to be there. And they're like, cool. Everybody's like, what's up? Everybody where I work at is like, that's the first time ever where everybody's just like, cool. Everybody's like, yo, hey, man, we got it good. We're doing, let's get it in. Let's get our job done. How are you doing? Oh, what'd you want? Like good, just very good, light life. Nothing crazy, right? No drama. I wonder if my girl burned me tonight. She was having some physical therapy. She's not here yet. But yeah, it's going to be intense going back to Canada, but I got to go at some point. Do I hope someday the kid walks in and comes to see me? Sure. But I definitely am in a situation where I can go over there. Right? I let it be for so long. But it might be the case, like, once I get into Canada, that I'm poking the bear, right? People think it's too much information, Roberto. That's part of this show, part of this, the cast here. Genuine people, genuine relationships, genuine effort, genuine work, genuine professionalism. Like, that's who I am. I throw myself out there in the camera. That's cool. Bruno is saying, yeah. Hey, Bruno, we cannot hibernate ourselves. I feel very isolated, and I'm not. Bruno, it's self-imposed isolation, and it's not good. Because last time I went to like a skateboard event, I showed up and I was like a fucking rock star, dude. Like people started taking photos of me because like, who's this guy? How come all these good skateboarders know who he is? Why is everybody like going to hug this guy? And I'm like, it was almost like if I could get that reaction every day, it's great, which I sort of do. But like being away, I guess made it seem, or other people realize like, hey, we're Pezzy. They call me Pezzy. Like there's Pezzy. Everybody was like happy to see me, and so many people came up to me. It was so ingratiating. It was a narcissistic ingratiation, but like it was cool, and there was no negative element of that. I wouldn't worry about what negative, like, because I've done bad, negative, not negative things, but like maybe you have an argument with people, like somebody's girlfriend or something else. You say something inappropriate, and shit happens, man. You know. Even my old friends that we've had those bad interactions with, we still have that mutual respect, and I have that for them, right? Like for example, one of my old bosses that I quit on, I saw him again and I was trying to tell him, I told him he's one of my best bosses, even though I quit on him. I just wasn't making money when I was working for him. It was commission only. It was hard. It wasn't making money. I wasn't making sales. I had to quit on him. Like, it seemed like it was bad, and we saw each other again. I told him I had spare time, and boom, boom. He's doing fantastic, fantastic guy. Like, one of my best bosses, always motivated, always motivating me. Like, yeah, real news. Hey, here's another thing I've learned, real news. Let me tell you about another good friend of mine that I just have been contacting through Facebook. He has been successful throughout his life. He lives in Tahoe, Lake Tahoe, California, which is a beautiful place to live in, making over six figures, owning a home there for like the past almost 20 years. Like maybe he's over like $250,000 earner now. Like, and his property is worth a lot of money. And he was been a computer programmer, software web guy for like 20 plus years. What's motivated me that I need to start doing something other than drinking, making YouTube, is recently, over the past 3 years, he's become a veterinarian. He went back to school to become a veterinarian, quit his solid computer web development company job to work with pets and dogs because that's what his passion is now. And he's did it at my age, at over 50 years old. I went on, I met this one woman, same thing. She is my age, was working a 9 to 5, like regular 9 to 5, went to nursing school. She's passionate about nursing, went into nursing, now is a nurse. And she's like just happy, the energy of the change of accomplishing something at our age. When you're at our age and you can make not just a career move, but a life-changing improvement, you get elevated, like emotionally yourself. It isn't about the money or what you're doing. It's when you're able to accomplish things at our age, it's astronomical. And I've lacked those plateaus, right? In my own life, I've lacked those, and therefore I've been deficient, and I haven't been elevating. And I have all the knowledge and the abilities to do it. And I have the time too now. So real news, dude. We talked to this about this a lot. Now it's getting a lot stronger earth tone. The oils are not translating the same, but we're going to see. There are a lot of old friends I don't deal with. They maybe are good and bad, but most of the good ones, they understand my bad elements. And the highs are the highs, and they accept the highs. Then they accept the things that I do. You still have to be a part of them. And then when we're not a part of people, when you don't have that network, you're stagnant. And that's been my biggest problem. Real news. We have to nurture the network. We have to nurture our strengths and our abilities. And I do have a lot of those. And I haven't been. I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm great where I'm at right now. I'm overworked by myself, but not overworked at work. Right? Not over, but I am doing very well for myself. Like, I have a lot more consistent work. My work is easy. My work is fun. I work with fun people. I work too much. That's my problem right now. But that's okay because I'm stacking my fucking 401k, stacking my silver, stacking some gold, right? Like saving away for that 10 years from now, I got to get my Cabo house or my Mexican home. Stacking for that trip to Indonesia this summer, July. Even if I don't catch a wave in Indonesia, which is impossible. I'm making that Indonesian trip. That Indonesian trip is, the deposit's already been made. I already laid down the deposit for it. So I lose 30% of it, which is a lot of money if I cancel, but I don't cancel shit. If we don't make moves and changes, I love doing what I'm doing right now, but right now this is light for me. Like, I should be, even for the amount I work, it should be a lot more. The return should be a lot more. The effort should be more, and the results should be more, of course, right? The results should be more, but that's okay. So, real news: you're young. You people that are young, or anybody listening to me, work on the things that I am stagnant. I'm stagnant even though I MMA gambling. That's why we're losing, right? We're losing because, or even because there hasn't been this development. There hasn't been this, not an epiphany, but they haven't put the work in correctly to improve. I was doing better before doing the last thing, and I'm doing this now. I'm drinking and smoking instead of focusing on my research. But this is lighter, it's easier, and I get to chill out more. Whereas before I was stressed out. I got to make these figures. I got to get these images there. Like it's just like stress free. Like, this isn't stressful. Like, this is relaxing. Me being here in camera in front of you guys is relaxing. Okay, we're losing a lot of flavor on the cigar. I think the girl canceled on me. I'm gonna cancel out here because I'm just rambling at this point. Unless somebody comes in the chat. Am I still on chat? Yeah, I'm still live. I'll keep a board until she comes or I finish the cigar, and then I'll cancel out the phone and contact her. But I think she canceled. Renews, I can't tell you the things I've been trying or wanting to do daily, even today. Like goals of things that I could probably do that I haven't done. Like 10 things besides drinking, maybe not smoking as much or not drinking as much. Things about business and personally that I've not done, and I have no excuses for not doing them. I'm thinking of opening up the skate shop, right? There's so many empty retail spots next to me. Like, why am I not invested in a beer company or doing beer myself? Maybe a cigar shop. I've consulted people on cigar shops. I remember I sat in a bar one time with this one guy, just talked about the cigar world when I worked in the cigar world. When I was visiting back from San Francisco, when I worked at Alfred Dunhill in the cigar shop, met this guy, just talked cigars with him. I didn't know he was starting a cigar shop. I came back the next winter. Motherfucker set up the cigar shop just like I described. It didn't last, right? Because I think there we go. What is it? Hello? Did you try calling me? All right, guys. I wasn't dumped here. Finally showed up. Made it this far. You guys are she's not gonna say it. They can't see you anyways. I don't think they can't see you.
What? Smoke and sip.
Sip and smoke. Sip and smoke.
Smoke and sip.
It could be smoking. It could be sip and smoke.
It could be sip.
Or smoke and sip. It doesn't matter. But guys, thank you so much. If you made it this far, you are about better. I appreciate you guys coming on in. Real news. Awesome, man. Get on doing what you need to do, brother. Thank you so much for joining the chat. Anybody who's made it this far, put comments of what your plays are, maybe your cigar comments or even beer comments in the comments section. I would appreciate it. Awesome one. Thank you for joining the stream, Real News. Thanks, John, Joey, Brian, you guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys on the back end. And as always, if you've made it this far, you are about better. Cigar is still 9.5, guys.